everyone's got their cups of water. Smart. Huh?
Hope that doesn't mean it's a long work.
Well, it's just, it's hot.
I drank 1.5 of these.
Yeah, good.
Which might tip over. So the means
Minutes till-
they got 5, they got a quorum.
Okay, we're gonna call the public hearing to order. You wanna call the roll?
Gallagher,
Here.
Callaghan,
Here.
Goltz,
Here.
Showers,
Here.
Olson.
Here.
Debbie may be coming, I can't tell. No, yes. Okay. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum. We're gonna open the public hearing at this point, and we have public comments first. Whoever would like to come forward. Whoever would like to come forward for public comments.
Hi, Dave Slater, 7118 Sylvia Road. First of all, I'd like to thank Sharon Kaler, who's not here. But Sharon is the reason these folks are here, because y'all then put it in the flyer. Y'all then put it on the signboard. Y'all then let us know about this rate increase. And then we look through the minutes, and this was done in April 15th. And those board minutes usually approved the first meeting in May, so they can be in the flyer. So your constituents, your residents could have known about it. You did not do that for whatever reason. That's up to you. But I'm gonna say, how can you raise the sewer rate when you don't even know what your numbers are? You guys don't even know what your numbers are, right? Am I correct?
Specifically explain that.
Well, I read, oh, that was the best part. While watching this council meeting that Sharon told us to watch, I heard that the records of Mayor Smith's administration were inaccurate, and they had to go back. Fine, Ms. Chair, did you ever look at the 12/31/24 audit?
Yes.
And what's it say?
Every audit.
What's it say?
It's like 50 some odd pages.
What's it
You have
say?
to be a little bit more specific.
How many adjusting entries? How many adjusting entries, Mr. Finance Chair? How many? The rest of the board, it's 0. There was not one error. Those numbers were perfect at 12/31.
So what does that have to do with the public hearing?
You guys are going back in those books to, oh, we'll talk about that in the regular meeting. But you guys are going back and saying you don't get good numbers, and you go back to 24. These numbers, the auditors say they were perfect, not adjusting entry here or there. Perfect, just like I did when I was at the bank. We got the best reconciliation.
What does that have to do with the public
It
hearing?
means that why can you raise your rates if you don't know what you got in the bank? You don't know if you have that need. You don't have any clue if you have a need to raise your rates because you don't know what you got in the bank, because you're not getting good recons. So why raise your rates if you don't know where you're at? Okay, that's what
That's
I
your
got to say.
comment?
Yep,
Okay.
I'll be back regularly. Oh, I would suggest hanging around because I've got more to say for regular meeting. Okay, how you doing? I just thank you, and you weren't even here.
You can say it again.
Go on.
Any other public comments that relate to sewer?
At the April 20th city meeting, the mayor stated that Kansas City would be raising their sewer rates and that Pleasant Valley would also be raising theirs. I believe the Kansas City rates might be valid, but not Pleasant Valley rates. Then you went on to say that in 2025, the city showed an overage of $130,000 and that some of the overage, $60,000, helps pay public works salaries. According to Article 3 under rates, this is a misuse of our money. It plainly states under section 700.720 that any excess revenues from user charges collected shall be applied to the cost of operation, maintenance, and replacement needs for the next year, and the rates adjusted accordingly. Obviously, this is not happening. Otherwise, John Halligan would not have stated that the city doesn't have enough money in the reserve if something major were to happen, and that he believes that the rates should be raised. Before elected, the mayor had come to our door saying that she planned on pursuing the volume of flow of our city water. Has this happened? Like her, I believe this may help lower our sewer rates. On the city website, under the mayor's corner, you state that our city is strong in community, spirit, dedicated public servants, and residents that care deeply about the future of our city. We are proud of Pleasant Valley and excited about its future through thoughtful planning, continued improvements, and community involvement. We will continue to build upon the strong foundation that has shaped Pleasant Valley into the city it is today. I attended the May 18th city meeting where it was stated that the city is planning to dissolve the Parks Board. I would like to know why. I don't see this as being excited about the future of our city. I don't believe this has been mentioned at previous meetings. I can't find where it was recorded in any city notes. We should be able to trust our city officials, but when you do things like this, we can't.
Any further?
I don't have, I just have questions. And the main question I have is, you're gonna raise our water by 6%. That's correct?
There's two components to your sewer rate.
Yeah.
There's a connection fee component and a user rate component.
Okay.
So 6% would go up on the connection fee and 6% would go up on the user fee.
Okay, is that because Kansas City has raised their rate?
Yes.
They have raised theirs by 6% or what?
Yes.
Okay, well, that kind of explains it. But this, what you call the other one besides the user rate, what was it?
It's a connection fee.
Yeah. Now, is that a one-time thing or do we pay that every month?
We pay it every month.
So we're going up 12%, not 6%.
Totally, yes.
Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
But then Kansas City is going up 12% as well. Anything else? Anyone else? Now's your time to speak.
Hi. Georgia Fox, 7115 Stewart Road, number 70. I have several questions.
As long as they're sewer related.
They are all sewer related.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for. Man, I thought it would just be maybe more efficient to provide the list. You guys to go through. I think one of the questions I have is the same as Dave. What was the amount that Kansas City went up this year and last year? Because you didn't increase the rate last year. Right?
That's correct.
Right. So there's also, I mentioned in there, Alderman Gallagher. Find the paper. Okay. I'm going to talk about some software that the city already has. It's on the city's server, and it's for rate setting, so that you can consider your repair and replacement schedule, your operating costs, your fixed costs, your variable costs, and all of that. And if you see, this is a 20-year repair and replacement schedule, where we had already planned on starting replacement of the lines in 24. That's probably the first time you've seen that, though. All right, so do you want me to go down the line? Or do you want to go down the line? Or?
You can do it however you want.
All right. So how did you determine the rate? Did you guys do a rate study, or did you just say, well, Kansas City's going up 6% on base rate and 6% on usage, and so we'll go up that amount?
We looked at what Kansas City was giving us,
Okay.
and that was a 6%. We did not try and recoup last year at all. That rate increase last year was given to us on the 27th of February. So none of us, except 2, were in office at that point. So that's where we started.
All right, so,
And the previous 8 years,
Right.
Kansas City gave us 5% increases, both on the monthly connection fee and the usage rate fee.
okay, so that's not exactly accurate.
I have the details, the letters from Kansas City back to 2017.
Right, but maybe it averages to 5%, but it varied every year. Like in 2015, they did a 15% increase. So there was a spreadsheet in the records that had that information. Right? I'll give it to you. So in 21, there was a 6% increase. In 2020, there was none because of the pandemic. 6% in 19, 18% in 18. Actually dropped in 17, 1% in 16, 11% in 15. I'll give you that information.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay,
Thank you.
something like that. Anyway, but the city itself did, because all of our ordinances, you're correct, in 5% every year, because that's how we would set the ordinances. That was based on a rate study I did in 2013 and the rate study that we had a consultant do in 2017, just to make sure that our repair and replacement was correct, that we were trying to maintain an affordability while still being able to put some money into reserves for that. So do you currently have a repair and replacement plan? Or have you updated the one that we would have passed on?
No,
Okay. Do you know the current balance in the sewer fund? I wasn't able to find that information.
yes, I do. Or, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Sorry,
And
finance chair.
Matthew just pulled the number, or earlier today, it's 1.5, 1,590,000.
Okay. So I guess you probably did not know that the city has software that I donated to the city in 2013 that is for calculating your rates.
No, I was unaware.
Okay.
What
It's
we were
where-
looking at was the 2025 budget reconciliation. So what we received in income versus what we expensed through the sewer fund.
Okay, all right. So you might take a look at the server,
Sure.
either Matthew or IT, under the folder that I have. It's under sewer, and it is called the Show Me Rate Maker. It's very, very old, but it
Sure.
still functions. Or you could consider a consultant. Carl Brown, his company is great, getting great rates.
And is he the one that did the survey before?
He's the one that did the 2017. Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Have you compared your rates to Liberty, Kansas City, Gladstone? Just to see, like, are we right there in line? Are we?
Well, they're larger.
Right, but that doesn't make any difference. They have a lot more overhead than we have. I mean, Liberty they have a sewer bond for a brand new sewer system
Yes.
that they put in, 30 million, I believe. Anyway, we don't have that. We just pay Kansas City directly. We don't have certified or license holding people for a wastewater treatment plant or anything like that. So we're just passing on costs. But I think it's important to kind of consider where you're at. So there is MPUA, I've got that here on this sheet, you might check them out. I would get their surveys at least annually to see and compare us with other cities. And if you feel like Liberty or Kansas City isn't a fair equal, it's based on population. So you can look inside the metro area, outside the metro area, at cities that are similarly situated to you. Again, I think it's a good idea. You've got to have some kind of awareness of what's going on around you when considering rates. So, especially if there's not a study involved. And I think Aspen answered the percentage rate that it went up. It went up 6%, Kansas City's this year, and last year,
5%.
5% last year. Okay,
Which we,
So-
we ate that 5% difference for the last year.
right, but you're making up for it this year, right?
No,
No.
we're not raising it 11%.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I had. I'd be very curious to know if you're going to consider a rate study before setting rates. I just think it helps reassure the public that you've done your due diligence instead of,
So my
Second.
question is, why was that not done last year? Because the rates were already set through 2024.
right, we did a study in 17, and I think what that ordinance from
It took you
2018 to
2024,
2024, right?
through 2024.
Right, I don't know, I didn't work here as the city clerk in 2024. I left in 2023. I was here in 24 as a human resource manager, so sewer, it was.
But you knew about all of that
Right,
previously.
I did. And
Okay,
I gave Matt the information. I mean, nothing was hidden, and I showed him where the software was. And suggested that if he was going to use it, he needed to talk to Carl Brown. Carl Brown is who put that software together. And it does require a little bit of training to before it's not something you're going to be able to just jump in and do and fully understand.
thank you.
So I guess the question is, why didn't you guys increase it in 24?
Because we were doing other things.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name
Hello.
is Denise Lehman, and I'm 7807 Pleasant Valley Road, right on Pleasant Valley Road in Pleasant Valley. And I just have some questions. So the balance you just said was the $1,590,000. How much is our expenditures per year for that?
Yeah, so our expenses total $992,000 per year.
Okay, so we have some excess going a little bit there.
And I will say that does include Kansas City's charges as well. Kansas City's charges for last year was right at $800,000.
Okay. This might seem like a dumb question, but is there any other sources we could get our water from in Kansas City? That's it. Okay. And when was the last raise that
The last rate
the
increase.
water department got?
The water department, or are we talking
Our
sewer?
whole thing, you know, how we get the bill. And it just seems like it goes up every year. It's something, and y'all had said something about 5% a year that, like Kansas City has been charging, so, and you didn't pass it along to us last year, but, because it seems like the gas and, the water bill used to be my cheapest utility, now the gas is. So it's like, it just seems like it creeps up every year, so, and then the other thing is if it does go up, is there a way maybe the seniors could get a little discount? Is that an option? Like the tax thing happened and stuff, that we could get a little break maybe, because everything keeps going up and our rate, you know, how that goes. Fixed income doesn't, so I just thought I'd throw that out, being a senior now. So, is that an option?
I do know that you guys, seniors did have a discount years ago on the water.
Correct, and we're old enough to know that, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
So that's why I was wondering, you know, if that could happen again, is that still happening where, because we all compare our us neighbors and everything, we compare our prices and stuff, and it just seems like, you know, everybody's being charged basically the same with them, about $5 or so. So I thought I'd throw that out there for us seniors, speak up to the seniors. So, let's see. And I think that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Denise.
Hi there. Just got a question out of pure curiosity.
You are, okay, first of all, who are you?
I'm Carly. I'm off of River Road, Cypress. Sorry, I've never done one of these.
That's okay.
My question, pure out of curiosity, how much percentage are we upping our rate compared to what Kansas City rate is?
If you will wait a minute after all the comments are done, I think I can answer that for everybody in this room.
Yeah, totally fine.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my first question. And then don't know what the percentage rate is on top of Kansas City rate, but what is that percentage? Obviously, it's not profit to you guys, but it goes into the department. What is that being used for? The excess, essentially. What is that going towards? Is it going towards the repair and replacement? Or
I printed off 5 copies, but I see that we need more than 5. But I'm more than happy to give one of them to you, and we can give anything to anybody else as well. That is 2025. So the very top section shows our income. That is what the sewer rates that are charged to residents flow into this account.
Yeah.
And then every row after that point are the expenses for it.
right, your overhead, all that.
All the overhead. And I believe somebody brought up, I believe it was Mr. Slater who brought up that there were additional expenses outside of just providing water.
Oh.
And that's true. Our public services, our public works department wears multiple hats, from streets to maintaining parks to sewers, managing the sewer system as well.
Right.
So their expenses are allocated according to the percentage of time that they're doing each activity. So that's why you will see salaries, you'll see overtime, you'll see supplies, training, payroll, taxes in there, equipment, advertising, and maintenance. So maintenance is generally the largest expense outside of the Kansas City charges.
Right.
So Kansas City charges amount to right at $800,000. This is 2025, so the year that ended in December. General maintenance, we spend about $60,000 a year doing scoping, doing general upkeep, repairs, things like that. And we used every bit of that, what was budgeted last year doing those activities. So yes, there is overage. It goes towards maintaining a public works department, and it also goes towards ensuring that we have enough funds to do a major sewer replacement. Kansas City got themselves in trouble a couple of years ago, talking about having to take out a lot of bonds and raise taxes and things like that, because they failed to properly allocate funds for major sewer repair. And so they bundled it up with this fancy street car.
Right.
We don't have a street car, so.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of my question is this access going towards something like that? Because we have older water lines. Those things are breaking all the time.
They're about 50 years old,
Yeah,
40, 50
and
years
so,
old.
like, obviously, I know they discussed a plan for replacement and fix, and that's something that's gonna be a reality in a few years. And so that's what I'm wondering is this access going towards that? And is it a plan that's going to be in place? Okay.
And our sewer scopes that we do every year looks at the health of it. We don't want to replace something that doesn't need replaced immediately.
Right.
So if it's working fine. If it's healthy, if it can sustain a few more years, then we'll eke that extra time out so that we can continue to gain the balance on it, to cover future inflation, to cover future rate increases, to cover future costs.
Right.
Those absolutely. And our excess, so Kansas City charged roughly $800,000. We've received just at $1,019,000. So of that difference, all of it went towards the expenses, and 16,000 went towards replacement. So that's the excess beyond all of our expenses.
Right.
So our margins are already really thin on making sure we have enough. And yes, people hear $1.5 million are like, oh, we're hurting from cash. The cost of doing a sewer replacement is very, very large.
Yeah.
1.5 is we're lucky to cover the city with that amount. And that's not to scare people. That's not to be like, oh, we're hurting for money. It's just balancing the needs to maintain our infrastructure with the reality of the costs in front of us. This is a necessary evil. I'm sorry to say it. I know we have a lot of people here. Our goal, our priority is to make sure that we don't have a sewer collapse and everybody here is without sewer for months on end while we do emergency repairs. We do annual scopings to make sure we cover the entire city, once every 3 years? Once every 3 years or so, to make sure that our oldest sections of pipe are still running smoothly. And so far they have been, knock on some wood, because we need it. So I know that there's been a lot of charge tensions. I also know that I don't believe a lot of people receive a lot of notice. And our intention is always to be very transparent.
Right.
I believe it's an oversight that it wasn't in the flyer. It was not malicious.
Is that something that could be more on, I'm younger.
Yeah.
I understand it's
Social
an older
media, yeah.
community, but like social media is more of a thing. I know there's a Facebook page. Is that something that could be posted more on that? I didn't even see it until I drove past the digital sign.
Yeah.
It was like, wait, there's a meeting?
Yeah.
So I understand that it's an older community, but you do have a lot of young people that I feel like if you would post more on there, it would help and maybe get more involvement.
To speak on that real quick as another younger resident in the community, social media live streaming is also something we've been trying to introduce. Something that I try to keep in mind, not that we're not going to be doing it because we do want to, is that it does take up city staff's time and training. So there's just a level of prioritization of when we want to prioritize social media, how important is that? Are there other things that they're working on, like kind of big issue things that are wrapped up in a lot of projects? So training them on social media, having a schedule for them to post on social media. I don't know if you're a social media person, if you own a business or ever had a small business, but like that eats a large chunk of your time doing social media posting. So it's something that we are definitely wanting to improve on, but it is a resource allocation issue as well.
Right.
I also think maybe if we can't do social media, you know how we get notices if there's a storm or something. I don't know if we could discuss a way of just getting a text to update our community on events if they don't pass by.
I would understand that takes a more complicated software where posting on a Facebook page would maybe be a little simpler.
And free.
And free, yeah.
Sure enough, I'm just putting out options if we're talking about allocation of time and money. And if it's equivalent to the same, everyone seems to have a phone, we can text you and you could get it that way, but just thinking of alternatives. I respect everybody's perspective.
Right, but I think, just my main question was what that percentage is on top of whatever Kansas City's cost is, and then just reassuring, I think, everybody that if there is an excess, that it's going towards their maintenance and what they need.
Yeah, the sewer fund is a protected fund. So we don't commingle those funds. The money that goes into sewer is dedicated to sewer usage. It would be illegal for us to utilize those funds for other activities. And the last point that I wanted to hit on is Kansas City's rate increase of 6% will increase the cost of the city by about $50,000. So if our excess from last year of 16,000 it carries forward to this year, then our balance in the sewer fund will start decreasing year over year as long as that difference still remains. And that's the money that is dedicated to replacing the sewer fund, and it's replacing the sewers and making sure that breaks and damages to them are repaired.
Right. I understand all about damages.
Yeah.
I have a husband in water repair, so I understand.
I don't mean to be mansplaining to you, to use a popular term, but hopefully the conversation is good for everyone here too.
Okay, anyone else? Okay,
I have those budget numbers. I wanted to make sure other people had the opportunity to see those as well. We can get more of them too.
John, you have anything you want to say?
Nothing to add.
Okay. On the board over there, you're going to see the residential sewer rate increase. We're not talking about commercial at this point. We're talking about residential. We have, you will notice on the board that there is a rate increase on the monthly sewer connection fee of $32.16. Kansas City is charging us $20.43. That leaves an overage of $11.73 to Pleasant Valley per account, per residential account. We have 1,081 residential accounts. So every month, what we do is we have that 1,081, we times it times the 1173, and that gives you a monthly overage of $12,680.13. You multiply that number, monthly number, times 12, and you come up with $152,161.56. That's what Pleasant Valley makes over Kansas City's charges on an annual basis, on the annual basis of the current 2026. So commercial accounts are much less. We only have 74 commercial accounts. They're charged the same rate. From Kansas City charges us the same rate, $20.43 for commercial and $7.07 for the usage. So the known part of this every month is the monthly usage rate. That's current. That maintains itself month after month after month. Now, Patrick, could you turn that around? Because we're going to talk about part 2 of your sewer rates. Part 2 deals with the $7.07 per gallon. Now, the rub between the usage rate, the rub on the usage rate is Kansas City charges Pleasant Valley on a cubic foot basis. because we have the water department do our billing, they have to convert that cubic foot into per gallon, because that's how they do the billing. We don't know that until we get our usage rate every month. So that to us is X, and I can't give you that amount going forward. So that fluctuates based on how many thousand gallons you use every month. And that's how that is determined. So the usage rate, you cannot take anything but for sewer repair. The connection fee is different. We can move that around if we need to. Any questions? Because I want everybody to understand when they look at their bill, what's happening.
Why did you get a connection fee? Why is that charged every month?
Because that's what Kansas City charges us. Kansas City charges us a connection fee every month.
So, Mayor, with that being, with her question, is that a fluctuation cost or is that a constant cost?
What? The connection
The
fee?
connection fee.
The
Is it
connection fee
constant or
is,
fluctuating?
no, the connection fee is constant.
Okay.
We know that every month going in. So we know every month that we're going to pay out to Kansas City $12,680.13 in a connection fee.
And that's $32.16 is what that one thing is that we receive for that.
That's what we're charging you, that's the proposed charging you as a resident.
Versus
$20.43. So the difference is what we're making and putting back into the sewer reserve accounts. Any other questions? Did that answer your question, Carly?
Slightly.
Okay. I don't have a percentage for you, but I got real numbers.
Yeah, I believe the percentage on, because we're going from 20 to 32.
Mhm.
So it's an $11 difference. I believe that's like a 55%
Mhm.
that we charge on top of what it costs us. But then part of that percentage is maintenance. But why do we bill in gallons instead of cubic, which is what we're charged by?
The city, years ago, used to build sewer here through the city. So we would get our information from Kansas City, and that was cubic feet. And we would not convert it. It would be billed out to the residents from the city in cubic feet. So once we had the water department take over our billing, they did gallons, and we had to do a conversion from cubic feet to gallons.
And we've never thought about switching our water over to cubic feet.
That would be first of all, that would be a decision by the water department.
Understandable. It's just a question.
Mhm. Okay. Any comments from the alderman? Okay, go ahead, Patrick.
I know I've talked a lot, but I just wanted to say that I appreciate you guys being here. Many times we see empty seats, and I appreciate the fact, even if you disagree with the decisions or don't understand the rationale, that you're here when you're talking to us, and I can hear you and I can see you. I can appreciate that. I know these are tough conversations, so thank you.
And I just wanted to say, I had some other people that was going to come, but they think this is a done deal, so that it didn't do any good to speak out. And I said, that's why things happen the way they do, is because if everybody feels that way, like the rest of us came tonight, at least we're expressing that, number one, we didn't understand, and needing these figures, you know, to get straight in our mind why this is happening. And, but is it a done deal? Did it do us any good to come? What can I tell these people so I can get feedback that, hey, it really did help us to at least get our feedback?
So I can speak for myself. It's not a done deal. The vote hasn't occurred yet. There's still time to sway minds, and hearing directly from the constituents is a way that you change elected leaders' minds. The reason that I am going to vote yes to the increase is to ensure that our existing balance of 1.5 does not start to get eaten away by standard usage. Is that we can retain the amount that we have in our sewer and not lose ground on what we've worked decades to save up.
Go ahead.
Alderman Keller. So are we studying or changing, the rates for the next 5 years?
No.
The next 5, or it's just 1 year? So maybe that would give you an opportunity to do a rate study for next year?
I'm all ears. That I am a data-driven person, and I think most of the board here is also, hey, let's look at the numbers, let's try to understand it. I'm all for, oh, absolutely. I'd rather not be, I love you, cross it. Oh, and you can absolutely take one of those papers too, for passing around. Although I'm not telling you what to do. But yeah, I feel like we are very data-driven people. And the data that I looked at was our budget, actual income, actual expenses, and looking at ensuring that our amount doesn't decrease in the future.
And you'll be able to project that usage part component to it, because part of the survey is to go back at your historical, look at your historical information, calculate that all, put that into the software, and that gives you, and then it starts calculating out, well, if it's this rate, this is what that looks like. So it'll tell you that variable rate as well as the basic rate on it. So.
With that said, we're doing this I'm just trying to summarize and understand. We're doing this one time, 1 year flat rate. And does the water sewage organization, do they change that all the time, or is it annually? Okay, so then basically it could be our profit could be $7.07, but by next year it might be $2.50, depending on what's going on across Liberty. They're building 3 data centers in that area. If it's going to be constant,
I have not heard that.
oh,
They're going to be started with data centers.
okay, yeah. So I'm sorry I brought in bad news, but that might be something to consider. If there's some way we can agree to, with the sewage, to lock in a price for a certain amount of years, just in case the fluctuation of water pricing, this sewer infrastructure, and with different materials that are increasing due to tariffs. There's something just to think about in this year of how to formulate the best solution that's sustainable for all of us, including our own pockets. Just some thoughts about that.
The only caution that I have with locking a rate in means that you're locked in. Like, those costs could balloon, and we're still left with our capped, limited, shot arrow through the kneecap kind of rate. So I think a 1 year rate increase that mirrors exactly what Kansas City is doing is a reasonable balance between not locking something in and not kneecapping us in the future, and ensuring that our costs are covered and our investment into a future sewer is still retained.
Okay, so I know Kansas City is growing a lot rapidly than we are, exponentially. And maybe we need to consider that in the calculations in this 1 year observation, take in those considerations of why certain rates are different for a larger population.
Is there anything that you want to say, Sam?
So I have kind of a question, as far as if we were to do a study or bring in a consultant or get training for this software about, I guess it's kind of like, those are 3 different buckets, but what the cost of that would be, because that's kind of my concern, is if we can see our budget and we have real dollars and cents, we can see this is what it costs us, this is how much we have saved up, this is how much we'll continue to save up if we don't do an increase, if we do an increase. I mean, those are things that if we can handle internally, I'm not sure if there's a payoff to do a study or to have a consultant come in. If it's,
Consultants are so expensive.
yeah, I mean, obviously those are different buckets and they can vary, so it might be something that's worth looking into. But similar to like when we were looking at our compensation study, we're just like, we could just pay all of our employees the difference of what this study costs. And so I kind of see it in a somewhat similar boat for sometimes studies are necessary, sometimes things are very complicated, but something like this seems a little bit simpler to see. We have, this is what it costs us, this is our excess, these are our expenses, kind of like budgeting at home. You know, there's plenty of people who want to come in and give me a consultant thing to budget my house finances, and you go, okay, well, this is what the consultant costs, and you know, could I use that money to then balance my budget rather than hiring a consultant? So I think that's just something to consider. And if we do look at it in the future, or if it was even something we'd be considering for this time, to just look at that difference, and if that's just wasted money when we could be saving that money to not have to increase rates as much.
Stephanie?
There's 2 things. I think sometimes we need, from my perspective and being in the energy field and different things, it's good to have people that are in the field of sewer and that expertise that can have that knowledge and perspective and can translate those difficult conversations to look forward to maybe standards. Yes, it depends on the consultant, because data in gives data out depending on how it's used. I think just taking even if it's a assessment or an association with some other of the other towns that might be looking at this type of problem and pulling money together to do a general study might be an option too. And I was going to ask Chris, since he's our environmental type of person, you've been here for a while, have you been doing the sewer? What perspectives do you see, or any suggestions that, you know, the aldermen should consider in this process?
You talk about in terms of the condition of our infrastructure,
Yeah.
water and sewer. Fortunately, we have 90% plastic pipe.
Are you, when you say 90% plastic, are you saying PVC?
PVC.
Okay.
That's awesome. And then number 2, what we've had over the years, there's been 3 different companies.
Chris, do you mind coming up to the microphone? So for the live stream and stuff, it can be hard to hear if it's not.
So there's been, over the years, 3 professional companies that have done our sewer scope, televising and jetting. And they've all stated at the end of the project, we normally do about 25,000 linear feet of our total 99,000 linear feet in the city. And all 3 of those companies have always mentioned that our system is in really good shape. Any other questions?
No, I just think from your perspective and being a working advocate for the water system and our infrastructure, that it would be nice to have some of his input and perspective in this process. We need to use as much expertise. If we should go the route of not getting a consultant, but we should also use the expertise that we have in our community that's familiar with our infrastructure in this process.
Any of you are always welcome to watch video of the sewer scope, but it's not very interesting.
Good. Sorry, Jane, go ahead.
I'm a little confused as to if we go through this with a 12% increase and making it $32, Kansas City's paying, charging us 20. Why are the residents responsible for funding your $11 fund?
Who else would you consider?
Lower the percentage.
Okay,
Why are we responsible for building up your fund of $11 a month? What is that fund for?
to,
I can
Go ahead.
reiterate it, yeah. So I don't like calling it a fund. I think that's the first thing. The sewer fund is dedicated to the maintenance, upkeep, and the coverage of our monthly sewer rates from the city. So that increase funds the reinvestment into repairs, maintenance, replacement of our sewer system.
But that's in our 12% increase that we're paying.
It's not a 12% increase. 6%
Well,
of the total does not equal 12%. It's a 6% of the total. And both amounts are included in that. Hopefully our explanations have made sense. I feel like this will help you, and I feel like this will help. That is the exact usage of the funds in the fiscal year of 2025. And we can go back as far back as however long we need to go. That is how those sewer funds are used. And you can look at the difference between the income. So the income is this number right here, 987. And this is our outflow, 970. The difference between those two numbers is what is reinvested into preserving and funding a future replacement of the system. And I will say, over the last year, we've made an improvement in the interest that we receive on it. The prior account that the sewer fund was in received a marginal interest rate, like just money sitting in the bank, a marginal interest rate of like 0.02%. It was bad. Over the last year, we have migrated all of those funds into state-approved municipal investment vehicles through MOSIP. And that is improving the liquidity and the growth of that fund to ensure that we don't just have enough funds to cover our expenses right now, our usage fees, our maintenance, our sewer scopings, but also funds when we need to replace it.
And was it my understanding that Chris said that 90% of our sewer was good?
No, 90% is PVC.
Right,
Which is
Great.
the idea of material,
right,
other than, as opposed to red clay, wood.
right. So the likelihood of it failing is small, right?
It is a better material long-term. It withstands movement in the ground. It withstands motion of material through it. It prevents roots from going into it a little bit better than some of the alternatives, and it doesn't absorb the moisture in the water that the alternatives like clay and wood do. So yes, it is better suited for long-term usability, but it doesn't have an infinite lifespan either.
No material wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Does that
the,
answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good to know, because I've been around a long time here, and it's good to know that we've got 9% PVC now. I think that's fantastic, because I've been around since it was clay and all that, so that's good to know. That's good for the whole city to know. I see that as something good for the flyer, I think,
Yeah.
as a positive, especially for raising the rates and stuff. That might be a positive for them to know that we've really been busy. If we've got 90% PVC pipe, that's great. I think. I'm glad to know that.
And I would say it's also that Chris mentioned that when we've gotten it looked at, the fact that it is showing that it's in good health for being an old system shows that our regular maintenance and making sure to stay on top of it and not ignore a problem and eventually have a catastrophic, extremely large bill is again, it shows very good work on the city, and our city's been doing a good job at maintaining the infrastructure
Well,
so
I'm just
far.
gonna give praise to my ex-father-in-law, Bob Lincoln, who was responsible for the Pleasant Valley ditching on that. He was a really good guy on that. It was really fascinating to watch him work.
He tied many of
That
the,
was.
he was responsible for rerouting many of the homes in the city where we abandoned or disallowed the use of septic systems and put in the sewer system in the late 70s. He connected many of the homes to the city's sewer system.
I just pouch blue ribbon beer cans in my basement.
True, that would be fun.
He goes, you might find a few of them in your basement. I got a half a dozen in there.
That was his perk.
And I should mention too, he left a book with Public Works that shows the drawings and the routing of the houses that he did.
Yeah.
A lot of them have little check marks and payment plans.
Yeah.
So yeah, books have been invaluable for some residents.
Okay. Anything else? Questions, comments, further comments? All right. Do we want to table the motion to do the sewer increase or not?
Yes, I think we should.
Then somebody needs to make a motion to go ahead and do the sewer increase.
Can we motion it to table it to do a little bit more research to answer some of the community's questions? And then the option to look at a consultant and whatever Chris and his team may have to say.
I think if you would like to go ahead and make that motion.
That's why I thought I did. Did I not make it correct?
I thought you were asking
No,
if we could make a
No, I
motion.
was making a motion. I'd like to make a motion, let's say it clearly again. I'd like to make a motion that we table it so we can have input from Chris and if we should pursue the path of consultancy and to include more of our constituents here who may not have been able to come, and if they email the mayor or any of the aldermen in their arena, they can have a comment so we can compile them and ensure, and I know this is long for you, Matthew, but ensure that everybody is heard. That's my motion. Or if one sentence, motion to table it, so everybody's input is included.
Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Okay, is there a motion to go ahead and do the sewer rate increase?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and process and pass the sewer adjustment rate.
You want to put the numbers in it?
Yeah.
3216 for the monthly maintenance fee and $7.07 for the usage rate per 1,000.
You have that, Matthew?
He's writing.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Would you read the motion back to me, please?
Well, all I wrote down, I wrote rate increase, and I wrote 3216 maintenance fee, 707 usage.
And that begins July 1st, is that correct?
As you know, we have to include commercial in this number as well.
Should have it.
Hey, I'll ask the question. Matthew, is there a proper vehicle for us to be motioning and approving this? Like, what are the words we need to say? Just want to make sure
Well,
that
this is gonna come back to the full board at the next meeting.
as an ordinance.
It's a
So,
recommendation.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
a recommendation to come back to the full board.
okay.
So it should also include the commercial numbers as well.
Your commercial account is
1753.
for your per gallon usage rate. And it's $32.16 for the monthly connection fee. So are you amending your motion?
I'll amend the motion to include the numbers listed that we gave Matthew to come back to an ordinance form to the board at the next regular board meeting, which would be the 16th, 15th. Okay, 15th of this month.
Okay, are you amending your second?
Sure, I'll accept the amendments.
Any discussion?
So just,
Serenity.
yeah, just to repeat it, it is a little bit hard to hear people. I don't know if it's because the AC is running, but or maybe we need to pull the mics up a little bit, but it's a little hard for me to hear people. But this is a motion to have it come to ordinance form at the next meeting. So again, it's still not a final vote that it is, it's not finalized at this point. So everyone is welcome to reach out to their alderman, come back to the next alderman meeting and have further discussion, further follow-up. That can then, again, it's a vote. Everyone is always entitled to change their vote or their opinion. So just a reminder that this is not the end here. We have another meeting 2 weeks from now. Is it 2 weeks from now? Right?
Mhm.
This fall, okay. Where the final then decision would be made for the ordinance to be passed.
Any further discussion?
Yes. For the commercial accounts, is this an increase at $17.53? What was it prior to this proposed amount? Since we really discussed specifically residential, but I might have missed something if we didn't talk about commercial.
Is it on?
Yeah, I think it was probably before you came in.
No, this is all residential that was on this.
Right.
Your
Okay.
chart there has the commercial on it at the bottom. If you see three going up from 16 to
So it went up like only $1 for me. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Freeman.
No.
Okay. So we'll carry that forward to the board. Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Callaghan,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Showers,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Can you give me like 2 minutes to swap the recordings around?
Absolutely. We can take a 5-minute break, please.
Yeah.